What is Styrofoam content and how is it hurting your business? I'll explain that and more coming up. Good Mark TV morning. Let me start by saying that this episode is for business owners who use social media to advertise and market their products and services. So the big question is, as I asked before, what is Styrofoam marketing? Well, to get a better understanding, let's look at Styrofoam. Now, no matter how much Styrofoam you have, we both know at the end of the day, it doesn't really serve any purpose. I mean, it just takes up space. It doesn't actually do anything, which is the intent of Styrofoam, isn't it? It's just to take up space to, well, protect whatever's in a box, but essentially it has no real value. Now, I've seen a lot of social media content coming from businesses and business owners that essentially do just that. It just takes up space. It has no value. It serves no purpose. It's just there. Now, as I said before, for those using social media for personal reasons, well, if you want to post pictures of your kids or what you had for lunch or dogs playing the piano, that's perfectly fine, because the reason behind that is nothing more than to share things that are of interest to you and what you might think of be interesting to others, even though in most cases it's probably not. But for business owners, when it comes to social media marketing, and marketing being the key word, the final objective here in any marketing is to get more business. No matter what you do, no matter how you say it, no matter what type of media you use, the goal is to get people to buy your product or service. But it seems so many business people seem to either forget it or are just plain unaware of that simple strategy. Now, you combine that with the fact that so many social media gurus are encouraging people to post things constantly. Well, you put those two things together and you know what? You end up with a lot of Styrofoam. So what does Styrofoam content look like? Well, you've probably seen it in your Facebook feed or on Instagram. In fact, you may have even created it. So I'm going to show you some examples of exactly what Styrofoam content is. The first one, and one I see so often, is stupid words of advice. I mean, this is not advice at all. It's just profound sounding crap. If you're going to give advice, give real, measurable, practical advice that people can start using right away. Don't get all like foo-foo and philosophical and everything. Nobody's buying it. Another example of Styrofoam content is when people post questions that they really don't care about what the answers will be. Now, I think this stems from the fact that a long time ago, people encouraged others to engage, and to do that, asking questions was a common strategy. But the thing is, so many people ask questions and you get all these other followers and whatnot answering them, but then that's it. You ask a question, you get an answer, and then the conversation's over. Doesn't really work that way. If you're going to ask a question, first off, ask a real meaty question, something that you really want to know about. And then when they reply back with an answer, you reply back either with an additional question or get some dialogue going. If you're not prepared to do that, then just don't ask a question. Which brings us to number 3, and that being asking totally irrelevant questions to anything. And I see this so often. You'll get people in one industry who will ask a question about something in another industry, or something that has nothing to do with them or their market. Coming in at number 4 is cheesy motivational posts that have absolutely nothing to do with anything and give no applicable advice or content or anything. They're just some kind of weird fortune cookie advice. I don't know why people post this stuff. It's just ridiculous. Have you got nothing better to come up with than sharing really lame ideas? And staying with the theme of quotes, this brings us to number 5. Those who post quotes from other people. They can't even come up with something interesting to say themselves. They haven't got a single thought in their head, so they have to pull out these quotes from like dead politicians or celebrities or business people and share those. Okay, now this might be the part where you say, okay, Mark, that's fine, but if I can't post stupid quotes or ask questions I don't really care about the answer to, or provide lame pieces of advice, then what can I do to let people know I'm still around? Well, I'm glad you asked that, because I'm going to tell you. First off, coming up with quality content isn't that easy. I know everyone's going to tell you it's easy, and it is if you're willing to share quotes from dead politicians, but for the most part, it isn't that easy. You actually have to create something of value. Now, with that, I would say don't feel obligated to post content all the time. It can just be a couple times a week. It can be once a day. It could be even like once a week. It doesn't really matter as long as it's interesting. So here's some ideas for things you can post. First off, you can share articles that you've written. I mean, hopefully you can write, if you know enough about your topic, you can write something either through your blog or as a standalone article, or maybe something you've submitted on a website. If something you've written is out there, share it. Another thing you can share are posts written by other people. You might find some great content that's not written by you, written by someone else who's not a competitor, that you think would be of relevance to your online community. So for example, if you're a financial planner and you come across an article about, I don't know, tax-free savings accounts or how to put away money for your retirement, and you're like, wow, this is a great article, share it. I mean, it's of interest to you. It may also be of interest to your community. Another thing you can share is what's going on in your business. Anything interesting that's happening with your staff, or if you're moving your company, or changing the way you work or anything like that, or even lessons that you've learned within your company that you want to share, maybe about hiring people or dealing with customers or whatever, or warehousing or anything. These are really cool things that people like to know. And staying with that theme, if you come up with any new products or services, social media is a great way to introduce them, and not just to take a picture, but create a video, tell a story. Why are you carrying that new product? What makes it unique? Perhaps you can demonstrate how it's being used or get some testimonials. I mean, there's a lot you can do above and beyond just taking a picture of a product and saying, hey, this is what we're carrying now. Are you one of these business owners that's out and about in the community a lot? Are you going to a lot of trade shows? Are you in the press? Are you at conferences and conventions? Are you speaking? If so, bring your smartphone and use it. Take pictures, take video of where you are, what you're doing, who you're talking to, and share that on social media. Not only will it be interesting to your community, but it will position you as an expert, as someone who's out there and making things happen. And finally, the most basic form of social media used for business is self-promotion. And I don't mean like, kind of faking it by using a stupid quote. I mean real promotion. If you have a sale going on, if there's a special promotion, if you have an exclusive product or an end of season deal, or really anything that's going on that you think your market would want to know about, let them know, because after all, you're in business to sell stuff, and believe it or not, all of your customers know that. So there you go, some ideas on how to avoid creating styrofoam content and creating something that's of value, that your market really wants, that your community is interested in, and can lead ideally to sales. Now, if you're watching this video on Facebook and you want to see more Mark TV episodes, just head over to marktv.net. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, you want to subscribe, click the little icon down below. And if you have any questions or comments, post them down below. I will answer. So until next time, I'm Mark Gordon, and you've been watching Mark TV.